Masks are no longer mandatory in all Illinois schools. That's after a court ruling late Friday suspended that statewide rule, causing school leaders and families to scramble. Amanda Vinicky joins us now with the latest. Amanda, how are state officials responding to this?
Well, Brandis, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul has filed an appeal of that ruling by a Sangamon County judge, but there is no telling when that will be acted on, meaning leaving parents unsettled, like Mateo Farzaneh, who his daughter attends a school in Lincolnwood that is not named a plaintiff in that suit, but nonetheless, last night sent a note to parents saying that masks would be optional. Farzaneh said that he had a serious talk with his 8-year-old daughter about keeping her mask on.
Mostly concerned and worried about peer pressure because she wants to fit in like all the other 8-year-olds. And we didn't want her to feel pressured by students in her class that, she doesn't need to wear the mask because their adults might have told them something differently. So it was a confusing time last night, and early this morning, there was a little bit of crying and concerns that no parents, wants to see, obviously.
He followed up with me when she got home from school, by the way, and Young Maya reports that most of her classmates did keep their masks on. School went just fine. Farzaneh says, though, that he's concerned about her bringing home COVID, given that he has health conditions and concerns, and he's also worried about teachers' safety. Friend high school senior Grace Camp-Buckles had been wearing a mask all year. She says it does make it hard to hear the teacher, and you can't read their lips when you're having a hard time hearing. So today, when she was given the choice, she didn't wear one. She says that made her the target of a classmate who warned that he didn't want anyone getting near him. And then she says he went after her.
And he aggressively goes, "You, especially you." And I go, and I like freak out for a second. And then he pulls out a knife and then he points it at me and he says, "You." And I'm freaking out. And he literally goes like this with a knife with me. And I'm freaking out. And I immediately go get my teacher because that was scary. And I noticed when I looked around, I was the only one not wearing a mask. And that's why he targeted me.
She says the school dealt with it well. She does plan to press charges. And this is the first time that it has come to violence. But she says that the mask argument and debate has everyone on edge.
Definitely everyone has strong opinions. There's so much hatred in our school. It's everywhere. You get judged if you're wearing a mask. You get judged if you're not wearing a mask. It's absolute chaos at school. It's just hatred on hatred, just people bullying each other based on their freedom and their decision. It's terrible. Everyone is experiencing this and everyone is involved.
Now, technically, the judge's ruling applies only to the plaintiffs. The judge ruled that this is not a class action case. Even so, it has bred massive confusion, also sparked protests. Some schools have gone remote in the interim. And then you have some suburban districts, like in Hinsdale, where parents are rallying for the districts to make masks optional. At St. Viator, and that's at Catholic High School in Arlington Heights, masks are still required, but the district says about 5% of the student body showed up today not wearing one. And then they had a conversation with the president about that. Afterward, some students put on face coverings, others chose to go home. Others staged a protest and remained in the gym. The school's policy on masking remains under review. Governor J.B. Pritzker says that Central Illinois judge's ruling is out of step with other legal analysis.
Most importantly, it constrains the ability of the named school districts to maintain safe in-person learning requirements, as if kids need a minute more of remote learning when there are common sense tools that we have to reduce and prevent it. The judge's decision cultivates chaos for parents, families, teachers, and school administrators across the state.
It is Pritzker's executive order that is in question here. He has used the state's Emergency Management Act to require quarantining guidelines as well as masks in school districts statewide. When pressed on when he will lift that order, he says that it depends on hospitalizations going down. According to the latest public health data, COVID patients are currently occupying 511 ICU beds statewide. Now, as I mentioned at the start, the Attorney General has filed appeals seeking to overturn the temporary restraining order.
Usually when you move for a TRO. It's something that's just been done, and it's going to irreparably harm you in the moment. The reality is these mask mandates have been in place for months, and based on the evidence put forth that was uncontroverted, it would support maintaining them going forward. And so that's why the judge's decision baffles me, and that's why we immediately motioned for a stay, and we filed an appeal of it today.
Now, Chicago Public Schools mask order remains in place. That's in part per a collective bargaining agreement. This is one rare area where the teachers union and the district are on the same page. Meanwhile, Democratic governors of several other states, Oregon, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Delaware, recently announced that they will soon be ending their own mask mandates. New York's remains in place. With that, Brandis, back to you.
Amanda, thank you.